Broken is something we all feel, but we don't have to stay that way. This video is about feeling broken and why it makes sense and how you can take control and change it. I'm Joshua Alston. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm a certified emotionally focused therapist, and I'm glad you clicked this video to watch it. So why do we feel broken? There's lots of words for broken: lost, alone, trapped, shitty. Why do we feel this way? And how do we change it? All right, to first understand this, we must first understand how emotions work. First and foremost, you're human, which makes you amazing. You have amazing hardware and a lot of amazing things that go into it. You're receiving unhealthy programming, and it doesn't matter how awesome the hardware, if it has bad programming, it will start to malfunction. Now, this doesn't fully stop you, because you still do the best with what you have, and this is where that broken feeling comes from. And this is where you start to feel that something doesn't make sense. Your best, though good intended, is unhealthy, which causes you to get stuck in your unhealthy cycle. So speaking of cycles, let me share with you something I put together to help myself understand emotions better. How do emotions work? Well, first and foremost, we have people, places, and things in our lives. And those things create an action. Now, this action can be real or perceived. It doesn't matter. All that the body asks is one simple question: am I safe? And when we feel safe, we can explore, we can discover, we can grow, we can be vulnerable, and we can share and receive judgment in that vulnerable place, right? This is where we feel awesome. This is where we feel secure. This is what we all want. Really fast, if what I've shared with you so far has been new, go ahead and hit that like button, because you're really going to want to hear this next part. As much as we want to feel safe all the time, this is not possible. So what happens when we feel unsafe? When that unsafe feeling gets activated, our primary emotions trigger. Now, the primary emotions, I call them the core emotions. They're the ones that motivate us. They move us. They make us do things in a sense. But we're okay with that, because throughout our whole life, we've been told or felt that emotions know what they're doing. So they take over. And so we listen to these emotions, and they created some awesome defense mechanisms throughout our lives. Now, we either pursue, which means we go towards the problem, or we withdraw and we wait it out. But we end up doing one of four things. We attack, we criticize, we defend, or we isolate. But the problem is, then we become trapped in that cycle. The broken cycle that happens over and over and over again. And that's where you're at right now. You're stuck in a negative cycle, going round and round. Like a roller coaster, you just want to get off, but you don't know how. So how do we change it? Well, we start by allowing ourselves to be curious. One of my favorite things to say is, isn't that interesting? We need to allow ourselves to own that something is happening, something is going on that we're experiencing. So by being curious, we start to notice what it is that the body is doing and follow those clues to figure out and change. And that's one of the first things we do. We notice. We notice our actions, and we take ownership of them. We start to look at what I call perceptions, or sometimes I call them justifications. What part of us is justifying what we're doing? Because it's important to understand that logically we can think one way and emotionally we react a different way. So to follow that emotional justification allows us to see ourselves differently. We need to look at what I call our secondary emotions. If primary emotions are the core, secondary emotions are the surface level. They're the things that we share with the world. And we need to pay attention to that, because if I'm sharing something different outwardly than I'm feeling inwardly, then I'm going to be working on a problem that may not exist. And that's when we're looking deeper. One of the greatest things we need to discover is those primary emotions, is the core emotions that move us and make us do things. Because if we can understand what that is, we can understand what triggers us. We can understand what I call our attachment need. An attachment need is the core of who we are. I need to feel that I'm loved, that I'm worthy, that I'm safe, that I'm valuable. All of these needs affect how we see the world and how we feel safe. Because once we can understand what we need and how our body functions in a healthy way, we won't be afraid of the emotions anymore. As you can see, if we can go and have a trigger as we get affected by our emotions, even though we get activated, we'll still know what we need, but still stay in control. What I want you to see is that you can learn to stop being broken by honoring and using emotions in a healthy way. The things that you do right now make sense because you are protecting yourselves in the best way you know how. It's just not entirely healthy, but that's why you're watching this, and that's why I'm here, to help you unleash the awesomeness and break free of the broken feelings, to learn that you make sense and that you're meant to be healthy emotional humans, full of self-worth, value, and belonging. That is my goal for this channel. That is my goal for you. If you would like a copy of this flowchart, please follow the link below to download the PDF. And to learn more about why you make sense, make sure to subscribe. Thank you.